All right, Henry McClure live. Paul Post. The whole shell game of jobs is created by the Greater Topeka Partnership and Go Topeka. It's all about control. So it's all smoke and mirrors. You've got to read the interlocal agreement. The interlocal agreement empowers JETO to create this organization between the city and the county for economic development, for infrastructure, and for quality of life. And so I'm really digging deep into the economic development and the actual verbiage, like a lawyer would do on the interlocal agreement. So you could say that, well, Go Topeka is their funds are being diverted over here. It's for economic development reasons. And Go Topeka can hide behind the fact, well, look, we're trying to create jobs. But the point is, individual people can bring forward deals, and it might be more successful than what Go Topeka is doing. You can't take a $5 million grant and then use 67% of it on overhead. Look, there's so much duplication. Maybe the president of Go Topeka and maybe one assistant is justified. But here's the whole thing. We don't need any of it if we empower local real estate people. And we can grow the tax base a lot faster. And we can also grow businesses. And that's what we need to do. We need to get out of the mindset of adding jobs. We need to create opportunities for entrepreneurs. So, and let's look at the debacle that happened out in Lawrence Bay. And I ain't done with Lawrence Bay yet. But the point is, we've got to redo how we create opportunities for housing developments. There's too much burden put on developers for housing. So if I need to run a sewer across public land, and that part is, let's say, $1 million just to get the sewer to my premise, well, that shouldn't be the burden of the developer. And the developer ought to be able to go to JETO and say, look, I need $1 million to bring the sewer just to my property. And that should qualify as economic development because apparently we've got a housing shortage. But what we really need to do is we got to figure out how to attract people to want to come live in Topeka. And we start off by making the existing citizens in Shawnee County first. We've got to fix our roads and our attitudes. And Go Topeka it's a shell game. They're up there doing this and doing that. And we got to get the government out of the real estate business. Look at that video I just sent you from Yes Topeka. So I've got a long history with this whole thing, been around it a long time. I went out and raised funds to create this monster. And you know something? If we're not going to spend the money right, let's just take it away from them. But I'll bet you $1 I could get 10 responses from people, legitimate people saying, hey, look, I just need this little piece of infrastructure and it will help my project. Well, there isn't any reason we shouldn't be working with developers inside this community. And we got to get it to where, and it's not about Henry McClure, but we got to get it to where it doesn't matter what your last name is, that you can get projects because it qualifies. So if we take TIF agreements and CID agreements and we come up with a uniform development agreement that includes that half-cent sales tax, development will burgeon from local people immediately. We got to quit attracting outside people when the people here aren't happy. So this is for you, Paul. Hey, I'm going to tell you something, Paul. Remember the dust? The dust of Wheatfield is blowing again. And I think you know what I mean.